Hi there, Tom Isaac. I'm here to be able to go through worksheet number 10 of the Personal Life Map Portfolio Project. This one is on auto insurance, and this one is going to take a little bit of time if you're unfamiliar with auto insurance. So make sure that you get started on this worksheet relatively early and don't leave it to the last minute. So what you're going to do in here is you're going to investigate the cost of automobile insurance for 1 year. And you're going to do this even if you don't plan on owning a car during year one. So there's a spot you'll see when we get to the bottom that allows you to put a 0 in so that nothing carries through to your summary worksheet. But you're going to have to go through this process anyways. So hopefully in worksheet number 8, you put down a car loan, even if you weren't going to plan on buying a car, and you put in a 0 here for not owning a car. This car we're now going to insure in worksheet number 10. So what you'll see in worksheet number 10, make sure you go through and read all the instructions. You're going to start out by calling or going to the website of several different auto insurers, putting in the information about your car or the car that you wish you could have and yourself, and you're going to get an insurance quote. And then you're going to put that information down in here in worksheet 10. You're going to be required to do this even if you're not planning on owning a car. So let's look at worksheet 10. The information that we've got in here, you can see the auto insurance premium costs, and we've got column D here where you're going to put the policy limit in, and column F here where you're going to put the annual policy cost. And I want to talk real briefly about these two concepts. The policy limit is the amount of money, or I should say, the maximum amount of money that the insurance company will pay out on a claim if you've had an accident or loss. The annual policy cost is how much money you pay to the insurance company for that coverage. So make sure that you understand the difference between those two things. And this is right up here in this note. Make sure that you read and understand those two differences. They are extremely different, and you need to make sure you understand them. Now, when we look at our auto insurance coverage, it's broken into sections here, you can see. So the first section is coverage A, liability insurance. This is coverage which provides monies to other people's things or to other people in the event that you have caused them to have a loss. So if you get into a car accident, this covers the other person's car. That would be property damage liability. It may also cover somebody else's, house. If you run your car into their house, that would be covered under this property damage liability. The bodily injury liability is the damage that you do to another person. So if you have a car accident and you injure someone else, this is the coverage to that person for the injury which you caused them. Part B is medical benefits. So these are medical benefits to you as the policy owner and for people in your car that have a medical issue because of an accident that you were involved in. So that's, again, the coverage for people in your car, whereas up here in Part A, coverage A, the liability, that's for other people. Part C, this is for coverage for you in the event that you get into a car accident and it's not your fault, but the other person driving, who you were involved in the accident with, doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough insurance. So that would be uninsured and underinsured motorists. So you get into a car accident, not your fault. So the other person should be paying for your bills, but they don't have insurance, or they only have a little bit of insurance and there's a big loss. So this is your insurance company covering you for losses which you incur even though they're not your fault. Then down here, the D, the comprehensive and collision insurance. It's important to understand the difference between these two. These are insurance coverages, excuse me, that are paid to you from your insurance company for either the loss of your car due to theft, that would be comprehensive, or the loss of your car or damage to your car that you caused. So if you're driving down the road and you slide off the road and you hit a tree, nobody else is involved, then your car is banged up. The collision coverage would cover your car to get your car fixed. So understand the difference between comprehensive, that's loss because your car was stolen, and collision, which is your car was banged up. And there's no other person to be able to pay. And then lastly down here is there might be some discounts. Good student is a common discount. A multi-car or multi-line are common discounts. So if you get both your car insurance and your homeowner's insurance at the same company, you often get a discount. You put those in here, and then it's going to calculate your total insurance cost for the policy after your discounts. Now, an important thing as well in this worksheet, all of these things that you're going to put in, the annual policy costs are for a year. Most commonly, if you get an insurance quote, it may be for 6 months. If the quote that you get is for 6 months of coverage, you're going to have to multiply by 2 to be able to get to the annual policy cost. So make sure that the numbers you're putting in here for the annual policy cost are the cost for a year, not for 6 months. When you get all done with all of that, you're going to have right down here your total cost of your car insurance. If you plan on owning a car or own a car during year one, you're going to put 12 here for 12 months worth of auto insurance in year one. If, on the other hand, you go through and you say, well, great, I learned all about car insurance, but I'm not planning on owning a car, all you have to do is put a 0 in here, and there will be nothing that will transfer through to your summary worksheet. But you still have to do all of this worksheet number 10, even if you don't plan on owning a car. Now, here's the question. Where do I get all these numbers from? Well, there's a couple of resources for you in the learning resources in Schoology. One of them, if you look at Schoology, in the learning resources, you come down here and you'll see, in addition to the reading assignments, PowerPoints, and so on, there is this resource here to Nationwide Learning Center, and another one that I've added here to the Policy Genius Auto Insurance homepage. And I want to show you both of those. These are great resources. Now, we're not advocating or endorsing Nationwide or any other insurance company. All we're doing is saying there's some good resources for you online that you can learn more. So if we take a look at the learning resources for Nationwide, this gives you information about all types of insurance. You come down here and say, I want to look at auto insurance. It's going to take you to the auto insurance resources and lots of good information. How to understand the parts of your policy, how your credit affects your policy, and a bunch of other stuff. The car insurance resources, car insurance laws, types of car insurance, how to compare auto insurance definitions. This is all great stuff that you should go through and read. So I would encourage you to take a look at all of these things so that you better understand your car insurance. Now, another resource for you, you can go through all of these resources here on car insurance. And then the other resource is Policy Genius. Policy Genius has lots of good, this is their auto insurance page, and it also has lots of good resources for you to read as well. Policy Genius is a place where you actually, it's an agent that sells insurance for several different, including these 3 companies here. So they can give you quotes as well. But what I'd encourage you to do is come down here and it will explain what is insurance, what does it cover, and it has definitions for all of those things. What it doesn't cover, is it legally required, and so on. And as you go all the way down here, you will notice at the bottom in here, they have this in the basics at the bottom. It says the car insurance declaration page. And this actually shows you what your car insurance policy would look like. And so if you come down here to the sample car insurance declarations page, you can see all of the information that we just talked about. Excuse me. So in this case, you can see they're insuring Jack and Jane Smith for a period of 5 months. And you can see the policy cost is going to be $798.48 for 5 months. If you were using this particular one and putting it into your worksheet 10, you'd have to multiply by 12 over 5 to be able to get the annual cost. But as you come down here, you can see all of the information. So they have the coverage, comprehensive, and collision, and the deductible is the amount that they reduce from what they're going to pay you. And you can see all of the pieces. So here's bodily injury coverage, and you can see the policy limits are $250,000 per person up to $500,000 per incident. That costs $301.50. Property damage is included in that up to a policy limit of $100,000. And you can keep going down. There's your medical coverage, that's that bodily injury. And then you have your uninsured motorist coverage as well, with policy limits of $250,000 and $500,000. And if we go back real briefly to the page, you can see I've got it broken out here where you're going to put in, for instance, the property damage liability per person, per occurrence. And if we go back and look at the worksheet, you can see it shows per person, per incident or occurrence. And then down here, here's your uninsured motorist. And then there's some additional things that you may be able to purchase as well. And there's things like rental coverage, towing, glass is a thing as well. Do you want your insurance company to pay for chipped windshields and that kind of thing? And those are all decisions that you can make as you go. And then below here, they're showing you that they've already applied those discounts in that policy. Sometimes they're broken out, sometimes they're not. But you can see that's what a policy quote or a policy declarations page is going to look like. A quote would be as an offer to sell you insurance. Once you've actually purchased it, it becomes the declarations page and is the first page of your insurance policy. The insurance policy itself is going to be many, many pages long and explains all of these things in detail. Also, you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, it gives you all of the definitions and other things that you might be interested in as well, including information about premiums and deductibles. So I hope that gives you a bit of some resources and a bit of understanding about what you're going to be doing here in Worksheet 10. And again, you have to complete this even if you aren't buying auto insurance, because you're going to put a 0 in here so that nothing transfers through. Now, if you already have auto insurance, this might be a good time to be able to shop around and say, hey, can I get my auto insurance less expensive? I personally did that recently, almost cut my auto insurance in half by going to a different carrier. You'll notice at the bottom of the worksheet, there's links to a whole bunch of different carriers here that you can get insurance quotes from. And on the page here on Policy Genius, you'll notice if you go to the Policy Genius homepage up here as well, you will see there's a way for you to be able to get quotes right here. Now, you will have to provide some personal information to be able to do this. So I would encourage you to gather up your information and go through this process. There's no harm in getting an insurance quote. It's not going to affect your credit rating or anything like that. And it's a good understanding of how this process works to go through this and get quotes online. If there are any questions as you go through Worksheet 10, as always, reach out to your instructor and please ask those questions. This one's going to take some time, so get started early. Any questions, again, reach out to your instructor. Thank you.